and how to define the SLAs. So we define that now entitlement can be defined in terms of number of hours and number of incident or number of cases. Then we talked about the service level agreement. So in the service level agreement, we defined the first response by, and then additionally we can also define resolve case by a particular time. And then we saw the timer control, wherein which we were able to see a countdown timer depending upon the SLA time which we have defined in various KPIs. Today, we'll be starting off with the field service. So we'll be having an overview of what is field services. Then we'll move ahead to the various entities which are related with field service, and then how do we work in field service and what are the various out-of-the-box modules or out-of-the-box functionality which is provided by the field service module. And then we'll move ahead and we'll look at the various options for customization and configurations in field service. So any question, anyone? I think we have, okay.
Deepak D present, sir.
I'm just marking. Is Ganavi present? I think she should be. Okay, just wait for 5 more minutes and then we finalize this attendance and I just will share it. Just give me a second. So any questions, anyone meanwhile? So today we'll be covering about what is field service. So I can see we have a lot of first party apps here, and then I have two options. One is field service mobile, and then I have field service application here. We'll just click on field service here, and I can see entities related with work orders, schedule board, bookings, resource requirement, resource group, time of request, time entries, and then the common entities which are account, contact, cases. Then we have agreements, and then we have something setting related with the IoT devices. Then we have different areas. So we have sales area, wherein we can see the common sales entity, which is lead, opportunities, code, orders, invoices, right? And then if we move to the inventory area, so it has some transfers, so warehouse, product inventory, purchase order, receipts, bills, so those kind of things is there. Then we'll talk about resources. So here we can define some properties related with the resources, such as a bookable resource, their characteristics, categories of resources, pay types of resource, so normal working hours, overtime, travel, holiday, break. Then we have proficiency model, is like level of their skills, work hour template, requirement group, requirement statuses, so active, cancelled, completed, booking statuses, so arrived, cancelled, committed, completed, and so on. Then we have booking rules, fulfillment preferences. Then we have booking setup metadata. We have certain scheduling parameters as well. Then if I go to settings, so I have some options related with the settings in Dynamics 365 for field service. So field service settings, so if I just click on this record here, so I can see some setting related with the field service. So RMA, RTVs, agreement related, setting purchase, inventory, intelligence, time entry. So some settings are there. I don't know what settings are there, but I am aware that there are some settings. So because there are a lot of settings in here, so we'll cover them one by one, right? A lot of entities which are there in this particular module. So we'll try to cover as many as possible, and we'll have a look at what is the out of the box functionality which is provided by the field service. I can additionally see products, price lists. So these two entities I'm already aware of. Payment terms. So again, if needed, I can create one of these text codes. So there can be, say for example, in our cases, it could be GST nowadays. All right, so we have GST, then we used to have VAT, we used to have some other taxes as well. So those kind of tax codes can be created if required. Then we have postal codes, asset categories, organization units. So these we have, so these are the business units which are there. And then I have work order types. Okay, these also will be covering, which says, priorities, work order types, incident types, service task types. So we'll be covering these in detail when we cover the specific part, but just to give you an idea that we have these many entities which are related with the field service module. Then cases might also be related with the field service. So you might have incidents and all those things. So we have entitlement and we have agreements as well. Then purchase order, substat uses, RMA, RTV, and we have settings, and then we have some settings related with the IoTs. So here also we can have IoT settings. Based upon those, we can do create some work order, and we can complete that. Okay. We go to service. So generally, field service is used by the utilities manufacturing company, service industry, right? So for the manufacturing, maybe say they are manufacturing something, they have a big machine, big product which they are creating, they are selling that product, and then they are providing the services also related with that particular product. So services could be maintenance, could be preventive maintenance, could be installation, right? Could be moving a particular product from one location to another, right? Reconfiguration, configuration. So those kind of settings, those kind of services can be handled with the help of field service. Is Ganavi present? Okay, so just give me a second. Okay, so give me a second. Okay, so if you remember yesterday, we talked about the cases, the tickets, the incidents, wherein the customer calls us and we are providing him maybe say troubleshooting from a central location, right? So we have customer service executive who are sitting at a particular location, and then there might be simple kind of task or appointment schedules which a particular person can go to the customer premise or customer place and fulfill whatever issue or the problem the customer is facing. But generally, that is typically for that kind of support is typically provided online. Sometimes you also provide some information to the customer in the forms of some document through email and so on. When we talk about, say, manufacturing, utilities, healthcare, and the industries where a team of professionals might have to go at the customer premise for installation of something, for maintenance of something, right? For maybe configuration of something, right? So in those cases, if it's simple scheduling, we can use the dynamic CRM for customer service. So it's kind of one-to-one. You can simply assign a particular ticket or particular work to a particular team or a user, right? But what happens is sometimes you have to do some complex kind of scheduling, where, just give me a second. Where you need a particular skill set of user. So I have user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. They might have specific skill set. Maybe say this particular user is a implementation specialist. This user is maybe say maintenance specialist. This user is specialized in configuration. So other example could be, this is a electric engineer. I'm talking about manufacturing and they are selling some product, which is a big machine, which they are selling. Could be for some, could be for printing, could be for some packaging or anything. They're manufacturing a particular machine and they are shipping that. So they need electric engineer, they need mechanical and engineer. They need also help staff and so on, basically. So many examples could be there. So now whenever they want to configure a service, so that particular service will not be able to be handled by one person. So they have to send electric, mechanical, and maybe staff together. And then when I say together, their schedule needs to match. I need to also check that they should be able to, they are available at the same time and available for the time for which a service is required. Maybe the service is for 3 hours. It's a 3-hour service. So I need to check the availability. Depending upon the availability, I need to schedule these resources for this service. Then what could be the challenges? So services, since this service is on-premise, then we have to configure something about the location of the customer. And then we should be aware about our resource, say resource 1, resource 2, their location as well. And then we need to match, okay, which resource is nearby the customer resource. Right? So those kind of things can be done using field service. So we have a scheduling engine which will automatically filter down the resources based upon the customer location, customer requirement, customer time suggestions for service. So customer might say I'm only available between say 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and it could be on a particular day. So maybe he's only available on Saturdays. And then we have to check, based upon this requirement, we need to check which resources are available, who are nearby his location. So those kind of configuration we need to do. Then for a particular service, we might require specific skill set. When I say user 1 is a electric engineer, what is his level of skills? So those level of skills can also be defined. So I can say level 1, level 2, level 3, and so on. So those levels needs to be defined in the system. And depending upon those level, you have to define a particular service. Right? So once that is defined, then you can schedule resources and you can get a particular booking done and a booking closed. So basically a service done and that particular service closed. Okay. So what we have is, say for example, we have a particular, so again, we talk about a product, right? We also talk about price list. But now we have two types of product. One is product and then we have service. So in field service, we also talk about the service which we are providing. So installation, implementation, configuration. Maybe I'm a landscaping company, so to landscape something, so I can do that. For that, I need some tools, certain tools as well, certain resources from a particular location. So those kind of things can be created as a product. And then these products can be related with some units, some discount list, and then all these three can be related with the price list. Let's delete this and let's delete canvas. So we have products, we have unit groups, and then we have discount. So I'm aware that these are three entities, and we add all these three information in price list for a particular customer. And then this price list can be associated with account, contact, and opportunity, and so on. So when this is associated, automatically the related products, related units, and related discounts also applies. Then we talk about a resource. So a resource who will be actually doing the work. So in field service, we call it a bookable resource. And then this particular resource might have certain skills, certain characteristics, right? It could be certain roles which he is doing. Then on this skills or on the characteristics, he might have some proficiency level. Right. So when we define a particular resource in field service, so we specify the resource attributes, say basic information. We specify his skills or categories. Then we specify the characteristics, which can be again skills, or it could be some certifications. Then we talk about proficiency. So how is proficient on these categories, these skills, these characteristics, and so on. Then we also define what is his work hours, right? What is his location of a resource? In which business unit he resides? What is his hourly rates? Right. So these kind of information we define for a resource. Then we talk about incidents or the service task type. So that means we define what kind of task we want to do. My company is offering, say for example, so what kind of task my company is offering for customers. So I provide that information in task types, and we have incident types as well, wherein we define, okay, so we have incident types, right? So these incidents can be related with some types of task, some kind of services, right? Then on particular product, then it can be related with some service as well. Then it could be some characteristics of resources which are required. So resource should need maybe say the proficiency level and the characteristics which are required for this particular. So think this type of particular service which my company is offering. It can be a group of small tasks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it include installation, it includes configuration, services. It might include it might include some customization and so on, right? So we define incident type. We define some related settings to it, on which product, which characteristics it is associated. And then based upon a customer requirement, we create a work order which is related with this incident type. So this incident type, and on that work order, so who will do that work order? We need resources. And then we can allocate with which resources who have these characteristics defined, and based upon the time and location. So depending upon the availability, we define a schedule and we define work, or we allocate work, or we do a booking of resources. So when we do booking of resources, those resources get that particular work done, and that service is marked as completed or done. Okay, so we have this incident type, right? Then we can be in agreement with a particular customer that will be providing him some service or incident and the time frame. The time frame could be again depending upon the resource requirement, resource availability. It could be a monthly service. So that means it's a recurring service. And then one service could be recurring, another service could be a one-time service in 1 year, and then it could be recurring every quarter. Another service could be recurring every quarter, which could be a preventive maintenance, right? And then it is also associated with some time of price list. There could be some charge associated with that, some product or service which is associated with that. And then once this agreement is approved and is agreed upon, is in action, then based upon the agreement, based upon the service incidents, right, which have been defined, incident booking which have been defined, right, we can again book resources. System can suggest you resources. There might be some customer preferences which comes into effect, and based upon those we can fulfill or we can complete the work order. So that's briefly about what is a field service. Then there might be some mobile integration. There might be some geolocation integration. Right. So for example, there is a company who doesn't have, let's clear this. Okay. There is a company which is manufacturing maybe say cars, which is a car manufacturer. It does not have these, or maybe it doesn't have local service centers. So every time when a person who have purchased this might have to call their customer service, and then customer service, they might have to even fly resources from different locations, resource from location to resource to location to, and so on. And then there might be certain tools or some devices requirement, say T1, which is required, and then based upon the common availability of these resources, depending upon the customer availability, a common schedule is identified, and that work is scheduled at that particular time, and then it is done at that particular time. Then that particular work details can also be defined prior. So how much work needs to be done in terms of hours? So maybe it takes 2 hours. What kind of resources are required? Resources 1 with proficiency 1, resource 2 with proficiency 2, tools with it could be the quality of tool, the power factor of tool, and so on. So those kind of things can be done using field service. Okay, so any question, anyone? Okay. So the first step that we'll do is we'll create, give me a second. So first step we'll do is we go to products and we'll create some products and services. So here I can see I have resource related information, and services I have booking related information here. Then in sales I have some sales related information. So before even doing the servicing, you might have some leads, some opportunities. You might want to get some contracts with some companies. So those come under the sales. And inside inventory, you have purchase order, bills, so something which you are purchasing, something which you are storing in your environment. And then we have some resource related information which is kept here. And then we have some settings which are defined here. So most of the configuration that we do is under settings or under the resources, because when we talk about field service, we need resources and we have to do some settings. So products and price list are under here, under settings in the field service. So just click on products here, and you can see I'm able to see some of the pre-created products. But now I would like to create some special kind of products which are related with I would say which are related with your field service. So I'll just click on add product, and maybe I'll say maybe I'm manufacturing something known as printing machine. I can provide it a product ID. So just, and then the model number. Does it have some parent? Does it have some validity? If it does, I can specify that information. Unit group, I will have default. And if it does have a separate requirement for unit groups, I can provide that as well. So decimal supported is 2, and then I have some product properties, and I have some field properties, field service properties. So just click on save first. So just save this product. I can add some properties related with this product. I can associate directly this product with some price list. There might be some product relationship, some notes, and then I'm concerned about the field service. It says what type of product is this, whether it's inventory, non-inventory. So if you're physically selling a product and you have some quantity defined, then it should be inventory. Maybe I do have sufficient amount always because I'm manufacturing directly. I'll say not inventory. And default vendor, if I'm getting it from someone, it might be inventory. I'm reselling that particular product, then it becomes inventory. Right? Is it taxable? So I'll just make it no, just for simplicity. Otherwise, I might add the current cost, the standard cost also for this particular product. So let's quickly add the standard cost. Maybe if I want to. So just remember that I specify the price of an item on the price list, but here also I have some options using which I can specify the amount here. So current cost, maybe say for the printer is, since I'm working in rupees, so my default currency is rupees. Should come up here somewhere. Okay. So I'll just say it is maybe 1 lakh. Maybe the current cost is 2 lakh. And the standard cost is maybe 100. So I can define that, and we'll just click on save. Then I need to publish it. So I'll just click on publish. Do you confirm, do you want to publish it? Yes. Save and close. Then I'll create another service, which could be a maintenance. So this time, the ID, unit group again, I'll keep default unit. Primary unit as a default one, decimal, we'll keep it 2. And the field service, taxable no. If I want to specify the current cost, standard cost, I can specify that from here. And field service type is service. Because I'm talking about maintenance, so it should be of type service. And then we'll click on save and we'll click on publish. So I'm specifying some product relation with the field service. Then I will add another product. And there might be some associated printing service fee. And then specify again default unit and primary unit here. We'll go to the field service and we'll just select it's also service type. Taxable is no, and we'll just click on save and then publish it. So what I've done is I've created three new products, and now I would like them to be added to a price list. So we'll click on, maybe I can use a default one if I want to, or maybe if I want, I can use a new one. We'll just click here and we'll say printing business price list. Default currency, I can specify the start, end, and so on. So just click on save here. And then you can see I have roll prices, roll price markup, category prices. So I'm not concerned about those. What I'm concerned about is I want to add a price list item. So I have to save it first and then get this option, price list item, and then click on new price list item. So product is, I've created these three. So printing machine, unit is primary unit. I want it as whole. And then pricing information, I was selling standard price was 180, so I'll just keep it 180 as the price here. With another 0, 2. So then click on save and close. I will add another one from here, which is the printing machine maintenance. Unit is again primary. Discount list I don't want to add, should be whole. Price information, I will just specify. So for maintenance, it needs 40,000. Maybe if I want to reduce it, I can make it maybe 20,000. And we'll do a save and close. Then we'll add one more price list item. And we'll add the printing service fee. Business unit is primary. Control is whole. And say, for example, this time printing service fee, if I want to sell in fraction, I can do that. Right. So for example, for the AC, you can do wet cleaning and you can do dry cleaning. Right. So I can create them as different service, or I can mention them as whole or fraction, so that I can simply say, okay, whenever I want to charge for the normal AC cleaning, I will charge 0.5% of the cost. And when it is wet cleaning, I will charge the complete 1 unit. Or maybe if it's like it's multiple AC, if it's a big AC, I can charge two as well. Then specify the cost. So I'll say 10,000, and we'll just click on save and close. Right. So okay. So what I've done is I've created products, and then I've created price lists. Okay. Now what I will do is, so let's everyone create these 3 products which I've just created, which are related with so just create these 3 products and then activate it. So what information do we have to provide? So just enter this information, and then under field service, just enter. If you want to enter the amount, you can provide that. Just make taxable as no, and then you can create. So just create these 3 records. In your system. So you have 10 minutes to create these 3 records, and then you have to go to price list and you have to add these 3 products there. And it should be inventory. If we are manufacturing it, it should be non-inventory. And if it is service, we have to select service.
Sir, we can't see your screen, sir.
So no one is able to see my screen?
No, sir, we are able to see it.
Okay. So this is where you have to create, you have to specify that it's a field service product type. So this is a field which is differentiating this particular product from other product in our views. So just make sure that you add these values up here, and you have 5 minutes to complete this, and then we'll move.
Sir,
ahead.
what are the 3 products, sir? Printer, printing machine, printer service fee.
Yeah,
printer
and
machine
maintenance.
Oh, okay, sir.
Sir?
Yes.
So we have done the same.
So again, same product entity we are using in the customer service and the
Yes,
field
sir.
service also. The only thing is, when we talk about field service, it needs some more information which is related with the fields. So that's what we are providing, that information here, which is related with field.
Okay, sir.
In the customer service application, since we are the administrator, we're able to see these customization up there. But as an end user, they might be having different form. So when I say different form, these fields will not be visible, which are related with field service. Right?
Yes,
And
sir.
then when we talk about the customer service, we mostly talk about a product. Right? So we talk about that we are selling a product. Here we talk about service as
Yes,
well.
sir.
So we talk about product, and then we talk about service. So service could be like scheduling some resource to go to the client environment and do some work over there. So that is a service. Right. So to provide those
Yes, sir.
service, we are specifying some additional information up here. Okay. So we have created the price list. Next is we might want to configure some resources as well so that they can be used as a bookable resource. So if you remember, just give me a second. Okay. So I will now go to again settings, and this time I will click on resources. Right. So I can see I have bookable resource. So I'll just show you the existing options which I have it here so that we can do the lab later together. So under resources, if I see I have some resources here, if I click on a resource here, I can see his basic. So resource type, I can see, okay, it's a contact. The contact name is this. And project service, I'm not concerned because the same resources can be used in project service as well. But I'm talking about the field service. So I can specify the hourly rate for this bookable resource. Then time of approval required. So if we want to take some time off, maybe some non-work hours, is busy, some day off, does it require approval? Yes or no? And then I have certain characteristics and category associations which are defined here. Scheduling, I have information that what's the start location. Say for example, if I have to schedule this particular resource, so from where does this location, this particular resource starts from? Does this resource starts from the organization unit address? That means the office, or does it starts from the resource address or the address which have been specified in the resource, right? So maybe my company policy says that you have to come to office first, and then from there you have to go to for completing a particular work. I can go to, in that way, I can click organization unit address, or if I have company policy say you can directly go to the client from your house, so you can simply click the resource address here. And then what's the OU address? In case you are using the organizational unit address, that means your office address, then you have to specify, okay, which OU or the business unit. So you have to search from the business unit here. Then scheduling, display on schedule board, enable for availability search. So these are yes, I keep them as is. And then I have this work hour where I can define what's his working time, what is his availability. So I can click on a particular day, right click, I can click this and click on show work hours. Maybe I can click edit here, this event, this and all following event, all event in the series. So if you want to specify my generic time, so I can say, okay, I'm not available on Sundays and Saturday, and I'm available on the other days. Then what's my time? Working time. I'll say, okay, I work from 9 to 6 and so on. We'll just click on cancel for now. But that's how I specify the work hours for a particular resource. I specify his scheduling information. I specify some information related with his hourly rates. And then I specify that a resource. So what are the characteristics related with this particular resource? So I can see new bookable resource characteristics. So I just click on this one, and then it's asking me to provide a skill name. I'll just search it. So you can see .NET, Agile methodology, assembly repair. So a lot of skills which are there up with me, C#, C++, CISM. So a lot of certifications, skills which are coming up here. So I can select maybe say CRM, and then I can specify, okay, what should be the rating value? So familiar, good, level 1, level 2, level 3, proficient, so maybe say proficient. And click on save and close. So if I want to add more those characteristics, I will say, okay, this particular user is also good in C#, and again, his level is proficient. I'll click on save and close. Then I can also do some category information associations. So just click on new bookable resource, and from here I'll just have to provide a name. So here I'll just click on search to see what all category associations we have. So these are the various roles which I have, right? So consulting lead, customer service, developer, field manager, functional consultant. Maybe he's a functional consultant. So just click on functional consultant, just give it a name. And we'll click on save and close. So with a particular bookable resource, I'm specifying some information about his characteristics, his role or category association, his location address, I would say, or geolocation. I'll specify his working hours, working time. And then I have some more information about resource territories if I want to specify that down there. So you have resource territories under related, then time of requests, and other information related with the product. So these are information I defined. Say, for example, if I want to define more of these characteristics, say C#, CRM is a characteristics. I want to define more of these, right? And I also want to define more of the service or the resource categories. So, and then I want to define these ratings as well. So rating values, right? So I can define these. So where to define? So I have this option, characteristics, which defines these characteristics. I have categories, which define these categories. I have proficiency model, which defines these ratings. Right? And then you have work hour templates which can be used. Okay. So now how do you define new characteristics? So I can simply click on characteristics here. And I can see there are a few characteristics which I'm able to see here, which is accounting, finance, and some rating associated with that. Then I have categories. So I can see those roles defined here: installation specialist, network technician, operation analyst, operator, robotic engineer, service advisor, site inspector, technician, vehicle, and a lot more. And under proficiency models, I can see I have alternate rating model, default rating model. So if I click on default rating model, and okay, and I don't have any values rating, so I'll just go back and choose the other one which has skill enabled. So I can see good, familiar, proficient. So define these ratings up here. Okay. Then I have work hour templates. So default work hour template, so default working time 8 to 5, and I can specify this. Okay. Now, say I want to define new characteristics. So I'll click on new from here. Specify the skill name. So before you might have to add a skill name. So what I will do is I'll just click on this new characteristics. So click on new from here. And it will ask, okay, new skills tabs can be created using customized experience found within settings. So it says that you can go to settings also. I'll just click on discard. And if I scroll down, so if you are not able to see that here, you might have to customize the environment. So user territories, asset categories, postal codes, payment terms. I can't see that here. Okay. But I'm fine. I can go back to my services, sorry, resources. Click on characteristics. I can define it from here. So I'll just click on new from here. Skill name, new characteristics, and I'll just say, what's the name? So the name is maybe I'll say implementation specialist. Type is whether it's a skill or it's a certification. So I'll say it's a skill, and then we'll just click on save and close. And I'll just select that up here. Then how does this particular skill rate with a resource? So if I want to add more, I can simply click on the search again and click on new characteristics. And then I'll just say discard changes. And from this screen, I can create more new characteristics. Right. Then I'll go to categories. Let's just say discard changes. And we'll click on new. I can see I have to specify some values up here. So I'll just say resource category. So some spelling mistake, but that's fine. And I'll just click on save. And then here, I get this option which says new role competency. So I'll say, okay. I can specify the name and I can specify the skill which is associated with that. And what's his proficiency level? So what I'm specifying here is I'm specifying a skill and a proficiency level together. So how do we create new proficiency model? So we have that option here, which is proficiency model. Okay.
This was competency.
So we went to characteristics, then we went to categories, and now we are on proficiency model.
So in categories, you went to resource contents.
Okay. Yeah. So just click on new resource competency.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So it's an option to define the skill along with a particular proficiency. So if I want to create a new proficiency, then I can directly click new from here, or I can go to proficiency model and specify ranking. Maybe say I'll click on new, just for example that we have a different proficiency model in our organization, for example. Then what is the minimum rating value? I will say 1. Maximum is.
Sir, could we take a break, sir?
Sure, just let me just complete this and then we can take a break. This small topic. So we'll be repeating this again, no problem. So we'll just start from 1 to 5, and then we're just saying that we want to create a rating value. So I'll just say, okay, name should be maybe say poor, and it should be rating should be 1, and save and close. Another rating value, I will say, okay, fair, maybe it should be 2, save and close. 3, it should be good. So these kind of rating values I can define. So what's the maximum rating value is 5. That means I can specify 5 rating value here. So just quickly 4, and then we have new rating value. 5 is excellent. Sorry. We have 5, and we'll just click on save and close. Right. So this way I can define my proficiency rating, and then I can use these rating now from to be. I can use this rating, and now I can use this to rate a particular resource on a particular skill or a characteristics. Right. So we can take a break. It is 11:05 right now, so we can take a break till 11:20.
After that.
Yeah. So we will be repeating that.
Okay.
So that was just a brief about what we will be doing. So next step would we will be doing that in actual. Just give me a second.
Sir, what is proficiency model? Sir, actually, sir, can you explain with an example?
Sure. Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Okay. So just give me a second. So say, for example, we have a resource. I will talk about a named resource. Say his name is John. He is a certified, I will say, security specialist. And he has done some security certification, which is, say, for example, this we'll be taking in the lab also. So CISSP, which is Certified Information System Security Professional. And he has another certification, which is CISM, which is Certified Information Security Manager. So that's his role, but he's also maybe say efficient, and he also sometimes plays a role of maybe security analyst. Right. So that's our resource. That's our, maybe say, roles, for example. And then we have certification. This could be skills as well. Okay. And then when I say CISSP, or maybe I would say security domain, how proficient he is, how well he is equipped with these certification or skills. So it could be that with this CISP, he's just familiar with the CISP. Or maybe there's another role, they say project manager. He's a junior project manager. He's just familiar with the project management. He's not proficient. There might be another resource, maybe his, so resource 2. So he has done maybe say CRM certification, ERP certification. On CRM, he's proficient or she's proficient. And on ERP, she is just maybe say, I would say familiar. And then she's a ERP functional consultant, and also CRM, I will say, maybe say specialist. Right. So when I specify this, this is known as your proficiency. And when I say proficiency model, so I specify, okay, I would say DXC proficiency model. I will say, okay, good means 1, maybe 3, and then very good means 4, and excellent means 5. So this model I can define. When I say about the familiar, proficient, I would say, okay, familiar, professional, and proficient. This can be another model to describe anything. Basically, generally we say rules in our case, but this can be anything. So before we can add this information to resources, so before we can add maybe say proficiency, and before we can add the categories, and before we add the characteristics, we have to define them first, right? And then we can have different proficiency model. So one is which we have just maybe say rating. Rating can be from 1 to 5. And then we can individually, we can define what do you mean by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? It could be feedback. I would say just 3 levels: good, okay, and excellent. So those kind of rating can be defined under the proficiency models. In categories, we define specific skills or roles. And then in characteristics, we define maybe say some certifications, which that particular person or a particular skills that particular person has. Maybe C#, could be some certifications as CRM certified, and so on. So those kind of, so basically we're talking about the resources which needs to be scheduled to get a work done. A person sitting in the head office would not know a particular person, maybe every person skills and their certifications which they have done. So those information we are tracking it in Dynamics 365 for field service. And then we'll rate, okay, this skill, say skill A, or maybe say C#, how good he is on C#. So I can use the rating 1 to 5, or I can use this rating. So that's my choice. I would say rating is his 4, level 4. Maybe for security, I can have different ratings. So I can say security rating for CISSP, I can have a different rating level. So I'll say, okay, level 1, level 2, and level 3. I can have just 3 levels. Maybe if I want more, I can have those more also. That depends upon the business requirement, how they want to handle the skills, and how do they want to handle the proficiency, right? So that's what categories, characteristics, and proficiency is. So where do I define that? I define them under characteristics. So in the characteristics, what I'm doing is I'm defining resources and their characteristics together, as well as their rating. So I can see the rating value on this characteristics is good. For Abraham, budgeting, he's proficient. Allison, assembly line design, proficient. C#, good. Inventory management, good. Operation research, proficient, and so on. And if I further scroll down, okay. And then I have some resource here which says CISM, proficient. CISSP, familiar. Building security, level 5 security. So I can define these kind of options. Okay.
So where exactly are we linking all these proficiency categories and characteristics?
So the ultimate goal will be to link them on the resources, right? So,
Okay, so yeah.
so whatever we define, we have to link them with our resources. So that's my resource, and that's my resource. So whatever I define, we have to link them on a particular resource. Only then, when we do a scheduling or we define a work order, then we'll be able to find out, okay, which resource has done certification on CISP and is at a particular proficiency level. Which user is proficient on CRM? Which user is familiar on ERP? Right? So based upon those, we can use them in the work orders, which we'll be creating later on. Right? Just to set the things up, we have defined the products, because these resources will be working on some products. Right? Say service product, I would talk about. So they will be working on some service products. Say, for example, we have created the monthly printer maintenance. We've created the printer service fees. So some of these resources might be working on that, right? So those kind of things we'll be doing. I can see a participant named Reha. Anyone know who is she? Any idea about, there was another participant some time ago, Niharika?
The company people, I think.
I've dropped them message, but they are not even responding. Reha, please respond if you are from DXC. Okay, we'll wait for a while for the response, otherwise, let's see. Okay, no problem. So next, let's quickly do exercise on this. Just give me a second. So what we aim to do is we aim to create few roles. So the scenario is each technician that goes out to service customer may have a number of different skills and roles assigned to them. There are primarily 3 roles that each tech may have. So they can be installation specialist, site inspector, or security analyst. So additionally, each technician may have specific skills or certification that relate to a specific product or service. And most common certification might be any of the following, which is CISSM, CISP, and GSAT. So what I want to do is, so this is the requirement from the customer. So I have to create these roles and these skills and certification in Dynamics 365 for field services. And then we have, since some of your customers are government agencies, technician may need to have a specific security clearance level. These can range from level 1 to level 5. That means we should have some security clearance, maybe some background checks on these particular resources. So we have to create those levels as well. So to do one, what we'll do is we'll just go to the resource tab and then just start with clicking on the proficiency models. So for that, we'll just go to, just give me a second. So just click on proficiency model here, and then here you have to define that. Just give me a second. So these are the steps. Just delete the other unnecessary things. So go to your schedule setting. So sorry, I'm on resources. Go to your resources and click on the proficiency models here. So you can just so it says click on proficiency models. So go to resources and just click on the resources here, and then click on the proficiency models and click on new. So get a name which is security level. And minimum rating value is 1, maximum is 5. So just once you have saved this, then get option on the right hand side which says rating values, from where you can add the rating value from level 1 to level 5. So just complete this first. Done, everyone? So once you are done, you should see these 5 levels. So level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, and then level 5. So 2 more minutes to complete this, and then we'll move to the next step.
Sir, where did you get that level 1 to level 5, sir?
Okay, so let's see. That's the next step basically. So here, add new rating value option. Here you get that option. So click on new rating value on the same form, open the security level again, and on the same form, click on new rating level, and just specify value name as level 1 security, value as 1. So once you're done with this, you should be able to see these 5 levels. So these 5 levels you should be able to see.
We have to create it 5 times, sir.
Yeah, 5 times, yes. So you can see add new rating value, then add another new rating value.
Where do we see that levels, sir?
Okay. So once you create a proficiency model, give it a name, and once you save it, specify value 1 to 5, save it, you'll be able to see the rating value on the right hand side, right? Here you have to specify, click on new rating value, and then in the name specify level 1 security, and in the value done, everyone?
Sir.
So next go to the characteristics. So click on the characteristics here. And let's do this. So click characteristics, new, in the name field, enter building security, and in the certificate type field to skill, and save the button. So characteristic new, so skill name is that's a bookable resource characteristics. Okay, give me a second. Just give me a second. So, any question, anyone, from how to create the skills and why are you getting the skills, these rating levels?
Sir, should we create new skills because it's not shown building security?
Yes, yes, you have to create a new skill.
For user or agent, again, we have to create new bookable resource, sir.
Just give me a second, which step you are on. So, you're on characteristics, click on new button, and then in the
Yes,
name,
sir.
enter building security.
Name
Certification
it
type.
doesn't take, sir. We have to create a new skill.
Okay, just give me a second. Just check.
Sir, in the skill name, if you click on new characteristics, there you can add your name, sir.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
new
yeah.
characteristics here. Yes. You just add a here, and in the name, click on the security level, and then specify the type as skill. Right. What you do is just go back. I'll just go back. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go back here. So what I do is, so click on new here, and then click on new characteristics here, and in the name, provide building security, and in the type, specify skill, and then just save it. So just save this record. Saying something. Okay, the characteristic name should be unique. So in my case, I already have that. So yes. Then on the same page, just click on new again from here. So just save it and then click on new. Just say discard changes. And here, just in the name, provide CISM, and the type, specify certification. Similarly, do it for the CISSP and the GSEC. So everyone done?
Can you see again how this characteristics you are entering?
Okay. So just click on characteristics here. So I've clicked on characteristics here. Click on new, and in the skill name, I'm getting this option new characteristic. I'm just clicking on that characteristics now. So just click on this option, and it will open a window where you can add new characteristics. The UI have changed a bit, so the option is not coming up. Otherwise, we can directly go there and provide these settings. But it's fine. We can do it from here. So we have to do it. So just click on save and click on new next time. And then you should have 1, 2, 3, and another one for the building security. You should have 4. So 3 skills. So 3 certification and 1 skill. So done, everyone? Okay, 2 more minutes to complete this. So anyone who has not done it? So everyone done? Okay. So we'll have 3 characteristics which have been now added. Now next, define the resource categories. So to define the resource categories, so again we'll go to resources, and you have categories here. Sorry. Click on new, and then specify these resource categories, which is installation specialist, site inspector, and security analyst. Just so from this form, just specify, I'll do the first one for you. Control V. In the description also, if I want, I can specify the same value. And I'm all okay with that. And then click on save. Do it for the site inspector. Then do it for the security analyst. So just create 3. So once you are done, please do let me know. So everyone, just 2 more minutes to complete it. Yeah. Just take 2 more minutes. So for those who are not completed yet, please do complete. So once you're done, you should be able to see these installation specialist and then security analyst. So that's what I've created: security analyst, installation specialist, and site inspector. These 3. Right. So we have created the characteristics, we've created the resources, we have created the proficiency model. Then next step is we want these to be added to the resource, or we might want to add a new bookable resource as well. So next step is we'll be doing that. So we'll just click on new resource.
We need to activate all the 3, right?
Yes. So if any of the options provide you option to activate, just activate that. So whenever you have option to activate, make sure that you activate it. So by default, sometimes security provides you to activate these automatically. If not, then you have to activate it. So next step is we have to go to resources. And before going to resource, what I'll do is I will create, or maybe say I will create myself as a contact in here. So I'll just go to maybe say service, click on contact, and I think I already have created something. Okay, maybe I'll just click on new here and provide. So just I will create myself as a contact. Last name information, that's fine. I can provide an email if I want to. So I'll just add a dot so that, okay. Then I will just scroll down. Next, I want to provide some data related with my address. What I'll do is I'll just add, maybe say any address, maybe which I'm aware of. Maybe say and city is And you can say it is suggesting me these addresses. So if required, I can suggest an address, but yes, I can do that if I want to. So I'll just select that, and automatically it has taken the other values. So I'm okay with that. And then we'll just save it. So in the details, I can see I have some personal information. So if I want to specify, I can specify that information as well. And then I have this longitude and latitude also set, because since I've specified this information, I'm fine with that. And then I have files, and then just click on save and close. So it says record might be duplicate of these. I'll say, okay, no, I want to ignore it. I just want to save it. Maybe I can give, just to differentiate with other, I will just give Dheeraj one and okay. So what I've done is I've added some address value here. This address value will be used when we do some geolocation, or maybe if we want to search a particular resource which is near to a particular location. So then it will be.
How did the suggested address open?
I just click. Maybe you can specify some of the text here, then it might open. So again, depending upon which country you want to specify it for. So for India, I'm not sure if they suggest it, but for some US regions, they do suggest that.
Okay.
So if you remember, we say if I click on new and just try it for some other resource, maybe 54. So there might be some sessions coming up. So if it provides, then you can choose it from the available ones. So that means for that particular location, they already have the location available, or you can just click on the geocode from the top, and then you can specify the information. It says suggested address. So I will specify something here, and then I have this option on the top of the contact which says geocode. So if I click on that, automatically you can see it is providing me some options. And I can select from those available options and then click on OK. And you can see the latitude and longitude is also available. I'll say OK. I'll just save this contact also. Maybe say test and John, and we'll just save it. Okay, there already exists one, so I'll say no and say no problem with that. Okay, now if I click on view on map, I should be able to locate this particular address on maps. Right? So I've added a contact. Next step is I will go back to my resources, and there I'll create a bookable resource. So click on new, and bookable resource can be of these types. It can be generic, it can be contact, user, equipment, account, crew, facility, pool. I want to use it from the contact which I've just created. Then look for the contact name, and I think this is the one which I just created. I've also entered some value to that, and you can see the time zone is UPAC, is Pacific time. I'm okay with that, and we'll just click on save. So just to give you a demo, so next is I have this option, go to field service. I have option to provide an hourly rate. So maybe say this contract was in Indian currency. So INR, the currency default was INR. We'll just say, okay, hourly rate is maybe say 5,000, for example. Just, and then time approval required, I will keep all default. Under scheduling, I want to say resource address. Again, I will say resource address because I've specified the resource address here. And then if required, I can select a OU as well. Or this is the organizational unit or the business unit, which we might have in place. I've added some sample data, so these values are coming up. In your case, if you want to create a new business unit, you can add that as well. And I'll just save it. Then you have omni-channel option, so I don't want to do anything with that. I have work hours. So from here, I would like to specify what is the working hour of this particular resource, bookable resource. So one option is I can click on show work hours from the top. And if I click on any record in this view, it will present me a window which says edit. So I'll just click on this and or following events. And then I can specify, okay, working hours is only from Monday to Friday. And the working hours are from 9 to maybe 5 or maybe 9 to 6. And then do you want to observe business closures? Yes, I do want to. And I can also specify a time for this particular resource. And I'll just click on save then. So now you can see the time for a day has changed. Just give me a second. Yeah, 9 to, that's fine. So I've
Sir, is it required to have latitude and longitude values for this?
Yes, sir. Same.
It's saying invalid, sir, when I try to save it.
Okay, so it says invalid. So did you put something in manual or?
Yes, sir, I just put it in manual.
Okay, so then you have to check those values from the Google actually. So if you want to put, so Google Maps, maybe if I go to India.
So we should go back to resource and change it again, sir?
Yeah, you can change it.
Okay.
So here you will
change
get.
it in context, sir.
Yes.
Should we change it in context, the latitude and longitude?
If you're facing some error, then you can change it. Otherwise, it is fine. Maybe you can try some US address and then it should give you the exact longitude and latitude. Otherwise, you can just delete those fields as well. That will fine. You can delete the values. Fine. So that way we can define. So what do we define? We define the general setting. We define the contact's field service information, which is the hourly rate. Under scheduling, we define that start location should be resource address. In your case, if you're facing some issue, you can just keep it organization OU address, that's fine. And then under work hours, just specify the work hour. Okay, so let's quickly do lab for this.
Changes you made in calendar.
Okay, just click on the calendar and click on edit, and then select this and for all following events. So I'll just provide you the steps which you need to do. So from here, I've just mentioned from 9 to 6 p.m. is the working time, and I've just removed Sunday and Saturdays from his working days.
Sir, it's still showing latitude or longitude for the contact record is invalid. I removed the address.
Okay, so just give me a second and we can come to that. Okay, so can you just share your screen?
Yes, sir.
Sir, if we change it to location agnostics, we can do it.
I didn't get you. What's the query?
Instead of changing it to business organization, if we change it to location agnostics, we can save and close it.
The
Yes,
location,
yes,
sir.
So that's the default settings. You can do that. You can also choose the BU one. Yeah, that's fine. Just try to save it. Yeah, that's fine. So you're getting some error or something? Okay, so when you say resource address, that means you are saying that you should specify the resource address, right? So if the resource address is not specified, then you'll get this error. So you can also use the organizational unit address if that has been defined for the OU, so or the business unit. So you can choose the last option as well here. So organizational unit address, just try to save it with that. Okay, just click on OK, and maybe you can choose the first option. That means for this organizational unit also the address has not been specified. So you might want to specify the address for the Fabricam US. If that is not specified, then you'll get this error. Go to your contact once. We'll just, okay. Can you reshare and just go to your contact first? Yes, that can work. Yeah. So go to open your contact. And scroll down. So you have to specify some address here. So if the address is not specified, then it will give you an error. So just specify maybe.
I specified, sir, but it didn't show in latitude, longitude, so I removed this.
Okay, maybe you can choose some other address from US. Just try. We can get some detail.
Google Maps, sir.
Just try some address, any address. Maybe you can use the one which I've specified. So 183 St. John's Avenue, ST, Jones Avenue. So that also depends upon what, yeah, just give it, no get directions, just scroll up. Specify the city as Gordon, Gordon. and maybe the country as maybe Australia. Just try to save it once. Then just click on the get direction. Just see if you get some Google coordinates here. Yes. So what you can do is you can copy up these Google coordinates from here. So you might need to find a way to find the coordinates, and then you can use it. So if required, you can use it that way, right? If not, you can just simply save a contact without the name, and then you can use the first setting which is there, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Just give me a second. Different screen. Go back to in the resources. Start changes, resources. I'll just open the one which I've just created. And I can see some information now under the field service, which says characteristics and which says category associations, right? So this is the place from where I can add now the information which I have specified, which is the characteristics and the category association. So I'll just give me a second. Just copy the steps. So here, from here, you can click on new bookable resource, characteristics, specify the characteristics, which is maybe say implementation specialist, and then specify the rating value, which would be good, familiar. So whatever you specified, it might be based upon that. I'll just click on close, and I'll just open the lab actually. Okay. So everyone have saved, created a contact with their name and specified your address. That's fine. So next is you have to create a bookable resource. So create a bookable resource, which is this, which I've already created. In my case, anyone who has not created a bookable resource, click on resource and go to bookable resource. Then specify the hourly rate. And then once you have saved it, just add these bookable resource characteristics, which is building security level 5. So which I've just created, just configure these options here for that resource. So where do I get that information? I get that information under field service. And if I move towards right, I'll be able to see that new bookable resource. So from there, I just have to add these values. So I'm telling that, okay, the bookable resource has a characteristics of building security and is level 5 security proficient. He's also a CISM certified and is proficient in that CISM. And then he's also characteristics is CISSP. That means he's certified on CISSP and he's familiar with that particular certification. So just add these values
Sir, how to assign hourly rates, sir? Can you repeat that step once?
Okay. So just specify a value here. Under bookable resource, field service, specify that value here. That's it. So that's the rate, that's the standard rate for this particular resource.
Sir, after that you have you have done something in work hours, right? In calendar.
Yes. So
Sir,
we'll be
that
doing
part.
that. So that part is after this. So just complete this step and then we'll do that step here.
Sir, what we have to do now?
Okay. Just add the characteristics and category association. So you can see on screen that we want to add characteristics and we want to add the association, resource category association. So on this page, so the skills or the roles which we have created, right? We want to assign that those resources to and those proficiency level to this particular resource, which is Dheeraj 1, right? So then later we'll be using this resource so that this user or resource can be allocated, or bookable resource can be allocated to different work orders. Yes. Yes, you have to create if you have not created CISM. Rating value, have you created?
No, proficient rating value is already there, sir.
Yes. So you can just try. You can just, what you can do is you can just try if that is available. If not available, then you can yeah, just click on this search icon and you should get that. If not, then you have to create it. And whenever you click on this, the lookup icon here, automatically you get that option to create a new rating directly from here, right? So you can create a new one from there as well. So you can see, give it a name, value, and then you have to specify the rating model. If you don't have, then rating model can also be created directly from here. So so everyone done?
5 minutes, sir.
Sure.
Sir, for bookable resource, sir, for category association, what we have to add?
Okay, so you have to add installation specialist and security analyst for that. So if you can see on my screen, so I've added this another contact. So I've added building security, CISM, CSP, and the rating value. And then I'll added the resource category, which is installation specialist and security analyst. So again, depending upon the business requirement from the customer from whom you are getting the details, these might be different set, right? So customer might say, okay, my requirement is the characters should be this, 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 and this, right? And then resource category should be a different depending upon the industry. So those resource category and those characteristics you have to define. So once you're done with that, just click on show work hours, and then just select your working hours and the working days.
Where is show work hours?
Okay. So you have this work hour tabs up here,
Yes, sir.
and then just click on any day of, or maybe the working hours, and then you get this option which is edit this and the following events. So make sure to select this and the following events,
Okay.
and then you can modify it from there. And then you get this option. We are just adding the territory.
As default.
I didn't get you.
Sir, WA I'm not getting there.
Okay,
That's why
so just click on resource territories, and you can click on new resource territory from here. And then in the territory, you have this option new territory. So directly from the lookup, if you want to create, you can create a new directory from there. So territory name, and just save and close. So if it is not, he said he is not having that option, so you can create a new one. So if it is present, you can simply click on search. If it is showing up there, it's fine. Otherwise, that depends upon if he has the sample data enabled for his organization. So if he has the sample data, that will be presented. That will be, the WA will be there. Create a work order for this incident type. And then to do that particular incident type, I need to find a resource, which might be a resource with a particular characteristics and categories defined. And I search it. And when I allocate, that is known as booking. So I'll be booking that resource. Right? So what I've done is I have created product list. I have created contact. I'll be creating the incident type now. Then I'll be creating the work order. And I will associate incident type to that and a booking to that. Booking will be a resource basically, which resource will be doing that work. So that will become right. After that, I have something known as agreement. So just then we can have a agreement with the account or a company. So for example, we have sold a product, maybe printing machines to this company, and now we have to define, okay, what maintenance service, what all things we want to do it for this company. So we can define, okay, what incident type, what time, and then recurrence, maybe say every month, every quarter. So we might do some activities, scheduled activities, or scheduled incidents, or scheduled activity types. Or incident types. So this will do after the work order. So any questions, anyone, whatever we have covered till now? Okay. So to go to our incident type, we have to change the area to settings. And under settings, where you see work orders, you can see you have incident types, you have service type, you have priorities. So you can see low, emergency, moderate, urgent, which are predefined. If I want to define a new type of priority, I can define that as well. Then work order types, diagnostic repair, inspection, install or replace, installation, preventive maintenance. These are certain categories of work order types. If I want to create more, I can click on new and I can create more. Then you have work order substitutes. So if you want to create some, substitute, this is sub statuses. If you want to, so this is statuses of the work order. So follow-up required, customer cancelled, building estimate, appointment confirmed, parts received, purchase order required, ready for dispatch. So these are some statuses of your work order. So if I want to add more statuses, I can add that value up here. So that record instance, I can add that here. Then I have incident types. So you can see camera down, line connection lost, MRI connection. So these are certain incident or some issues. So replace core part, thermostat is broken, unexpected reboot, unit overheating. So some kind of issues I have documented. Right? This is what incident type is. And then we have service type task, which defines customer satisfaction. Maybe say you have inspection task, you have measure energy usage, performance. So basically, you are doing some action here. And incident type is a particular scenario where the company production might be down. So maybe if I open the camera down link, I will see what details do I have it on the screen. So I have just the name here. Under details, I can see there's a service call. So whenever the camera is down, that means that's a service call, and the estimated duration to complete that is 2 hours. What product that is associated with? Remember, we created a product that's associated with F95 camera, outdoor motion sensors, services. Then you have circuit restoration. So that's a service which you have to do in relation with the incident type, which is camera down. Then you have service task. So for this particular incident type, what you have to do is on this product, you have to do some service, which is circuit restoration. And then you have to do some service task, which is measure energy usage, pre-estimate, promote summer special, collect customer signature. So what are the tasks which one have to do? And what is the estimated duration for those tasks? Here also, circuit restoration will take 1 hour. And then we have services task, which can be done in relation with the particular service. Then to do this particular incident type, what is the characteristics which is required? So which is required is electrical. So a person who is doing this should have a characteristics of electrical. Then you have notes, you have related, and so on. So let's open another incident type, maybe so printer issue maybe. Go to details. I can see that's a service call. So I'll just click on that and we'll just search and we'll see. So diagnosing, repair, inspection, install or replace. So these kind of options I can specify it here. So repair is service call. I will just select that product. Then I can see I have lithium battery, which is on that particular incident, which is related to the incident. So lithium battery, gradients, coils are related. And services is minimum diagnostic charge. For the printer issue, duration is 2 hours. Then service task, energy usage, free estimate. So what task will be doing? Characteristics, again, building 12 access would be required. So only a person who has the building 12 access will be able to perform this function. So it can be a characteristics. Then, okay, let me just open another one to give you another example. Say service printer. So detail again is it's a service call, which is a 1 hour call. Then products, we have a printer, which is at remote site. That's the product which you have created. Quantity is 1. Services, again, we have to do printer service fee. So that's a service charge which needs to incur. And the task which I have to do is clean printer assembly, replace toner, final test, and so on. And then characteristics which are required is CISM familiar, and then building security level 2. So the next assignment, what we're doing is we'll be creating these services. We'll be creating these service tasks, and then we'll be creating the incident type. These characteristics we have already created, and then we'll associate these characteristics as well with a particular incident type. Or you can see this is some work which someone has to do, which is related with some product, and some services have to be done, and some task needs to be done in relation with that particular incident type or some work. Okay, I think we can break for lunch. So any question before we take break for lunch? Anyone? Okay, so we can break